Hi all, welcome to our 13th video in this series. We are starting on ways to summarize our data and take much needed decisions in our operation. This is what is the ultimate goal of any spreadsheet. First to collect the data, then collate the data and finally summarize it. I can't tell you how important is this part of Excel because this feature is really one of the wonders of Excel and boon for almost all professionals, at least for those who aspire to be known as mature one. This is our table where we are going to perform practicals for pivot. Now, this is an employee details table where we have a list of different users and then their job title with the departments they are in, the ethnicity, their age, what was their hire date for them, and then their annual salary and then the country they belong. Now I have written some of the cases and then as per those cases we will try and find out how we can make pivot tables based on these cases. So let's understand this first case. Case 1 is we need to see the count of users per department per country wise. Also, we want to have an option where we can filter the results as per the age or as per the job title they have. So let's see how to make the pivot table out of this given table. So we just need to select some cell in this table and then we need to go into insert pivot table and then select from table / range. So you can see the dancing lights which has selected our whole table, and now there are options if we want to see the pivot table in the new worksheet, a different one from this worksheet, or we want to have the pivot table in this worksheet itself. So we want to have the pivot table in this sheet only. So let's select it and then in the place of location just select the cell where we want our pivot table to start. So we want to start it here. Click on OK. So now we have these pivot table fields and then this place which is occupied for pivot table. Okay, so what if we close this pivot table fields? Let's close it. Now let's understand few basic rules before we proceed for pivot tables. If we have highlighted a cell which is not in this pivot table designated area, it will not show any extra tabs here. But then the moment we click inside this pivot table designated area, we can see two extra options. One is pivot table analyze and then one is design. So we will understand them one by one, but then we need to know this. So we can click here and then since this field list we have closed it, so we can bring them on by clicking on this field list. Now let's read the case one once again. So we want to see the count of users. Okay, so keep this aside, count of users, and we want to see it per department wise and per country wise. So we can see all the column headers here. We can scroll it down and then we can see all the column headers are here. Now we can see there are filters, then there is column area, then rows area and the summation of values here. So first we can click on department and drag it in rows. So you can see we have all the department arranged in row wise. Now our ask was we need per department and then per country wise. So we can see where is the country column header. Okay, so here is it. So we can select this one and then drag it here. Inside each department we can see the records getting divided per country wise. And now we wanted to see the count of users. So we know we have the name column header. So we just need to select this name and drop it in summation values area. Now if we take a look in our pivot table, we have a summarized table where we can see the users from each department and then they have been sub bifurcated within their countries they belong to. For example, in accounting department there are 12 users, out of which one is from Brazil, 2 from China, and then the rest 9 are from US, United States, and same is with all of them. And moreover, if you want to drill it further down and you want to see who all 9 users are from United States, You can simply click on this 9 and this will take you to a different Excel sheet, and there it will present you all those filtered results. So you can see these 9 users are the one who are from United States. So let's delete this. Okay. Now there is one more ask. So we also want to have an option to filter results as per the age or job title wise. So now we can see there is a filter area also. So we can drop job title in the filter section as well as the age one. So now we can see there are two filters available here, job title and then age. Now what we can do, just click on this select multiple items. All have been highlighted with a checkbox. And then now if we want to see only users with job title as Vice President, just click on it and then click OK. So now we have the summarized data as all the vice presidents who are belonging to different departments and within their departments from which country they belong to. Now we know that we have 13 vice presidents in our company, out of which one is in accounting, 2 in engineering, 3 finance, 5 in IT, and likewise. And then we can say out of these 5 vice presidents in IT, one is from Brazil, one is from China, and 3 are from United States. So this is the beauty of pivot table. Now that we have understood a bit of pivot tables, let's play around this pivot table analyze tab and then the design tab. So let's see what all we can play with design. So in design we can see we have banded columns and banded rows. So these are nothing but then highlighting the alternate ones. If we want to highlight the alternate columns, we can select this banded columns. And if we want to highlight the alternate rows, we can select this banded rows. Similar is with row headers and column headers. If we want to depict them as headers in the row, we can keep it checked. If not, we can unselect it. Same with column headers. Now coming to blank rows. So blank rows is inserting a blank line after each item. So what does it mean is, if we click on this, so after each specific type of record, it will give a blank line. Let's remove it for now. The interesting one is report layout. So if we take a look at this version, as of now, it looks a bit clumsy. But if we want to see it in a more clear form, we can select the tabular format. So see, each of the headers are showing very clearly now. The earlier version was the compact one. Now the subtotals and then the grand totals. So subtotal is nothing but then adding the specific department wise. For example, how many users are in accounting or engineering or finance or IT, and then grand total is the one which we are looking at here. So which is across the department, how many total users are there in the company itself. In our case, we have grand totals for the columns only because we have the data in the columns format only. So we can do it off for rows and column. This will remove this grand total. See, and then the moment we click on for column only, it will bring the grand total. Now with the subtotals, if we don't want to show the subtotals, we can click on this. I think it is already there. But then what if we want to see the subtotals at the bottom of group or top of group? So if we want to see it at the bottom of group, let's click here and we can see for accounting how many total users are there, and for each department we can see how many total users are there, and in the final we can see the grand total is there. So that's how we can play with design tab. Now coming to analyze tab. In this analyze tab, we have multiple different sections like show, tools, calculation, and so on. So in this show one, we can see there are 3 field list. Then this plus minus button, this is nothing but then to expand and collapse. If we want to remove the field headers, we can use this one, field headers. So currently our summarized data is in the form of, if we see, it is in the form of compact form, and we may not see exact value in removing the headers. But if we do it in tabular format, We can see department and country and then count of name, all the headers. And now if we go and if we unselect this field headers, it will simply remove those column headers. And then this collapse and expand button, if we unclick it, it will remove those plus minus option. Now in the tools, we have recommended pivot tables and then pivot chart. So we will discuss about these in a different video altogether. So we will leave this. Calculation, this is something which is bit odd for normal audience. This is not needed. So actions is very simple. So if we want to clear all this pivot table, we can simply click on clear and then we can select clear all or clear filters. So we had one filter here. For example, we have job title and age. So in this, let's select any one of it like vice president as earlier. So we had this filter on. Now if we want to clear this filter, we can simply click on clear filter and it will clear this filter. Next is select. So if we want to select entire pivot table, we can click on entire pivot table and it will make the whole selection like this one, and then we can delete or do whatever we want to do. And then there is an option for move pivot table. So if we want to move this pivot table to a different worksheet or to a different location in this worksheet itself, we can use this option. For example, we can use this move pivot table option and let's say we want to move it here. Click on OK and see this has moved our pivot table. We can use refresh button whenever we change some data in our table and then we want to refresh our pivot table based on this table. We can use this refresh button. Slicer and timeline, again we will discuss in a different video. The last one we are left with in analyze tab is the field settings. And now for field settings, it is advisable to not play around this field setting for any other areas like if we have any columns in column section or rows section or filter section, but then we can play around field settings in this value, summation values. For example, in count of name, we can go to field value setting and then in here we can see by default count is selected. So why? So Excel is intelligent enough to understand if there is a text column on which we want to make the operation for summation, there is no point in doing the sum of it because for text fields we are going to get 0. Therefore Excel by default selects the count option. But then had we selected a column which is number containing column in this summation values area, we would have got sum as the by default choice, because we know for numbers sum is the most favorable choice. So we can also change it to sum for this text field and we can see how it converts the value to 0. Let's do OK and see we are getting 0 as expected. So let's convert this again to count and then we have the right result. So we will also understand the same thing. We can play around it with a column which is number containing. So in this second case, we will see through it and then understand that aspect of field settings. Before proceeding for case number 2, let's delete this pivot so we know how to clear all the data. So we can click on clear all. Designated area is still there. So we can go in select and then do entire pivot table and then press delete. So this will clear our pivot table. So now case number 2. So case number 2 wants us to see the sum of salary being given to the employee per country and then per department wise. So let's see how to create the pivot table now. We need to go in insert pivot table from table range. In this existing worksheet only, we want to make it here. Okay. Now we want to see the sum of salary by what category, per country and then per department wise. So we can select the country in rows and then department inside country. Okay. And then annual salary we want in the summation. So it will be interesting to see what Excel puts it in the values field, either by the count or by sum. So logically speaking, it is a number containing column. So we should see the sum. So let's see. Cool. So we are seeing the sum of annual salary. Now let's close this And now we can see a summarized data where salary being drawn by the employees has been categorized per country, and then inside that country how is it divided between different departments. Feel free to play around design and analyze tab for any of the pivot tables we create, and that's the only way you can make yourself comfortable in making pivot and playing around it. So that's it for today. We have covered today what is pivot table and how we can create it. We have seen options around it. Some of the options like pivot chart and then the slicer, these things we'll see in upcoming video. So till then, keep up your good work and continue learning. Thank you.